Let's try it on. You can put on the trousers first and I'll help you out with the suit afterwards. Please. Now that we have the trousers on, how do you feel around the waist? Your trousers are perfect when you're able to fit your hands in like this. Let's take a look at the hips. It looks okay, but it might be slightly too loose for you. As for the length, it seems like the trousers are a bit too long. I would suggest making it half an inch shorter so that your legs look better. What do you think? I think it's fine. From what I see here, I would recommend taking a centimeter away so that it fits you better. I want the best parts of you to stand out. Let's try the suit on. From what I can see here, this is customized just for your body shape. A good suit can take care of your chest, waist, and hips. Good canvas can complement your deltoid muscles, which then emphasizes your body shape. How do you feel wearing this suit and how's the length? You can see here that your shirt peeks out of the sleeves, which I made a quarter shorter. Your shoulders look okay, and I think the suit did a great job since you have steeper shoulders. I think the back is a bit too wide, but I'll make the adjustments for you later. The length of the suit looks okay, but it would be even better if I fine-tuned the waist. A good piece of clothing complements your looks. Those that are a bit overweight will look more slim, and those that aren't tall can look taller. A great tailor can craft a suit that hides your disadvantages and emphasizes your advantages. Showing others the best part of yourself is a big plus. The best width of the waist used to be the size of your fist inside the suit, but nowadays people want their suit to be fit, so it's approximately the size of your hand so that your waistline looks more slim. Now let's take a look at your waist again. The suit modifies the outline of your waist perfectly. I hope to give you the best quality. There is an assistant that helps take notes while we're fitting the suit on. Notes such as measurements, back adjustments, and waistline adjustments will all be jotted down by my assistant according to each client's body shape. We're going to start off with the measurements. Take away 3.175 millimeters from the back panel of the trousers. Take away 1 centimeter from the hip circumference. Take away half an inch from the length of the trousers so that you won't easily get creases on the leg openings. Shoulder slope and shoulder width are both okay. Take away 3.57 millimeters from the sleeve length. Take away 3.175 millimeters from the back width. Same with the waist as well as the back, excluding the front panel. Take away 3.175 millimeters from the hem as well, so that the suit fits the back perfectly. Okay. Once we're done with the fitting, we'll start with his measurements, the ones where we took notes as well as the parts that need to be adjusted. In order to adjust the suit to its perfect state, we will need to pay close attention to every detail and ensure that it's impeccable. We will need to iron the piece first. These are the front and back panels as well as the sleeves. Details are always the most important thing when it comes to the last stage of adjustments. We will need to check the length, the position of the buttons, height of pockets, the width of the lapel, as well as the angle of the curved hem. These measurements have to be precisely calculated and the proportions must be correct. We'll need to adjust the position of the checks when we're done fitting. Matching the checks is really important in the final stage because this determines the whole look of the suit. Pay attention to the curve of the armhole. The measurements collected from the body panels and the armhole will assist you in adjusting the sleeves. Once you're done drawing and have matched the checks, we can now compare the front and back panels as well as the position of the armhole. The checks match and we're going to start cutting the pieces. I'd like to say this one more time, the checks have to match or else the suit will not look as good as it should. We always leave some extra fabric in the fitting phase just in case we need to make some adjustments to the size or length, and we'll trim them off when we're done. Make sure that the curve is okay, and of course the curve of the armhole once we're done trimming. Lastly, please make sure that the sleeve lining and armhole are aligned. The procedure is to sew the canvas and the shell fabric together once we take it off of the facing. This whole process is 100% handmade. Next, we sew the lapel using the herringbone stitch technique. We'll need to trim the lapel after we're done sewing. This is the time where we determine the hole size, curve, and proportion of the lapel. We will then proceed in precise trimming. Now we're getting into the trimming of the canvas edge. This requires precise cutting skills, and they have to be right on spot to ensure that the outline of the suit is perfect. Once we're done trimming, we're going to use seam tape to hold it in place, and this prevents the lapel from stretching, allowing it to stay in its place. It's now time to sew the facing with the lining, all 100% handmade. Now we're sewing the buttonhole, or Milanese buttonhole. We've chosen a maroon thread to hand sew the buttonhole, and this process requires precise techniques. Nowadays, a lot of suits are sewn with sewing machines, which makes hand-sewn suits precious. The hand-sewn technique we're using here is called the pick stitch technique, which requires the tailor's utmost attention to ensure that every stitch is in place. The tailor has to have great control over the needle as well. We tell our clients that the edge of their suits are hand-sewn and handled with care. We've already trimmed the lapel, and it's time to sew both sides of the facing together. Turn the facing over and use the basting technique to make it stay in place. This allows the lapel to curl a bit and look sharp. This depends on the skills of the tailor to sew and trim accurately. Take a closer look at how the needle and thread does its job. These are just basting stitches, meaning they're not the final seam. But you can see that the edges have to be neat and clean, especially when you're dealing with checks. You will need to match the stripes when you're dealing with stripe patterns, and same goes for checks as well. You have to be very precise throughout the whole process to ensure the checks match. This is called flipping the facing. Once you've flipped it over, you can hold the lapel in place. We will need to pay attention to the tightness once we're done with the edge of the lapel. Don't do it too tight or else it will look less energetic. You will need to take care of the tightness of both the outside and the inside. That allows the lapel to look sharp, lively, and stylish at the same time. The lapel is a very important focus of a good quality suit. Not only am I talking about the size and tightness, but also the checks as well. Take a close look. We also use basting stitches to ensure the checks are in the right place. This is the beauty of a hand-sewn lapel. Once we're done with the lapel, we'll try it on the mannequin first. You can see that the lapel rests perfectly on the suit and the angle of it is a chef's kiss. You can see that the checks match and the tightness of the suit is right on point. If we had made it a bit tighter, the buttons might have been hidden when the suit was buttoned up. When you pay attention to every little detail, the curve and outline will look spectacular. The versatility of the lapel and the match checks are details I care a lot about because this will help demonstrate your charisma. Once we're done with the sleeves, the most important thing is to focus on the cuffs. The hand-sewn technique used here is called backstitching. It's straight and you can adjust the length of each needle point to match each other. I can sew with speed, but I'll slow down a bit for the video, allowing you to see it more clearly. You have to ensure that the threads have equal lengths and have great control over the cuffs and seams. That way you'll have a bigger picture of the cuffs and have a general feeling of how it would look. That's why I would recommend sewing cuffs perfectly at this stage in order for you to have a full look of your sleeve. Now, as you can see, the armhole has slightly curled, which is why we need to iron it, allowing the gaps in between each stitch to shorten a bit. The armhole will look impeccable if you implement this process. Make sure that this is how much you want it to curl. It starts out circular and becomes straight after easing. When it's time to iron, place the armhole where you'd like your curl. Here's a small technique to remember. Iron the excess wrinkles first. This ensures that we get the desired curl once we connect it with the sleeve. Once again, it starts off being circular but will become neat and tidy after you iron it. This is the ideal sleeve that we like to see. Time to connect the sleeves now. Take a close look. The checks and the lapel buttonhole are in place. Make sure that the sleeves are placed correctly when ready to stitch it on. We usually place it where our elbows land naturally around the middle of the pockets. We'll sew the sleeves on with basting stitches to make it stay in place and then do the final stitches. You can see here that it's a bit curled. This will make the suit look just the way we want it around the armhole. Press it down in the front, and if the front and back goes well, the sleeve will have a beautiful curve. A great hand-sewn suit, or specifically, the curve of the suit, is done through the hands of a tailor. An important thing to keep in mind is we'll sew it again when we're done here. Crisscrossing just like chains. And when that's all finished, we'll be ready to sew the final stitches to prevent the seams from loosening. If you only stitch one side, you'll see that the fabric will move around. But if you sew them like chains, in other words, crisscross stitches, the sleeves will stay in place and it'll be easier for you to sew the final stitches. When it's time to do the final stitches, sewing the assisting canvas onto the suit is very crucial. This process requires skill and technique. If the crisscross stitches were done well and the assisting canvas is stitched onto the suit, the outline and the curve of the sleeve will stay in place rather than collapsing on your arms. That's how important the assisting canvas is. Now, it's time to sew the basting stitches in place. The length of each stitch should be around 2 centimeters, leaving some space for the fabric to stretch. The facing and canvas will then have a perfect bond. The last stages are, of course, hand sewn. You can see that our tailor is hand sewing the buttonholes now. We have to personally check, or in other words, make sure that the edges of the suit are fixed in place. These are the details of a good suit that people won't notice. The suit will never go out of shape. We finished making an elegant bespoke suit, so now let's check the details of the suit. The most important part of the suit is the lapel and sleeves. You could say it's the spirit of the suit. Next, the proportions and outlines need to be symmetrical. The checks need to match, and you can see that this suit has matched checks. The buttons were done perfectly and the lapel looks sharp. The sleeves were done just the way we wanted, naturally staying in place. When we take a closer look, you can see the hand-sewn details on the suit, including the Milanese buttonhole and the surgeon cuffs. You can button up or leave it open. These are the perfectly displayed details on the sleeve. We're going to wait for our client to come and try it on. Hi, Mr. Ren. The owner of the suit is here. We've done our final touches, hoping to adjust some parts according to the measurements we did last time. and allowing the suit to look perfect on you. Now, let us try it on. The suit looks very nice. Not only is the sleeve length just right, but also the checks match as well. Now, would you please face the mirror? The waist looks fine, and you will need the extra space I added in for different postures and movements. You can stretch your hands out. The best working angle is around 45 degrees. You have to be able to cross your arms no matter how fit the suit is. Not only can you move freely, but also feel the exceptional fabric as well. You can move your shoulders around. This is what we call the unseen comfort of the suit. Besides the fit look, your shoulders have to feel comfortable as well. That way you won't feel exhausted wearing the suit all day. There's a suit tradition regarding the proportion of the shirt and the suit, which is called the 3 reveals of the shirt. The first one is revealing 1 to 1.5 centimeters of the back collar of your shirt. As for the cuffs, you will reveal 1 centimeter of your shirt and around 2 centimeters when you're in motion. This is the best way to wear a suit and a great display of suit etiquette. Now, Mr. Ren, the difference between this suit and made-to-wear suits is that it's 100% hand-sewn and it took 5 days, nearly a week, to complete this suit. Besides having these exquisite bullhorn buttons that will slightly shine after years of use, we also have the hand-sewn buttonholes that are shaped like water droplets, which of course fits the buttons perfectly. Now for the lapel, the color of the Milanese buttonhole is like icing on the cake. We sew better than the sewing machine, which is why the suits are a display of art. Moving over to the cuffs, you can fully open up your cuffs, and we left one unbuttoned, allowing the details to be seen. What do you think? It's beautiful. The checks on your lapel, sleeves, shoulders, and pockets all match and done with perfection. Let's take a look on the inside. We wanted to change a look, so here's your name, meaning this is made just for you. Now the seams are all hand-sewn beautifully. The fabric we've chosen is the Super 150's wool fabric from Loro Piano. We've put our effort in every detail of this suit, ensuring their perfection. The size of the suit is made to fit you, and I hope that it can stay as bold and good looking as it is now. This suit will accompany you in attending all sorts of occasions, and I truly hope you can look outstanding in it. The color of the tie, Milanese buttonhole, and the buttonhole on your cuffs match each other perfectly. This is the final look.